Kaguya Ōtsutsuki. Kaguya Ōtsutsuki was the first known member of the clan to arrive on Earth. She and Isshiki Ōtsutsuki were sent to harvest the planet's life energy by planting a god tree, a celestial organism that absorbs the chakra of all living beings to produce a chakra fruit. Consuming this fruit is how the Ōtsutsuki race evolves, gaining divine power through planetary sacrifice. While her mission was to feed the clan's hierarchy, Kaguya disobeyed. She consumed the chakra fruit herself, gaining immeasurable strength and chakra. Unlike others of her kind, she grew attached to Earth and desired peace, but this affection transformed into control. Seeing humanity as her possession, she imposed order by force, creating fear instead of harmony. Her powers were unmatched. The Byakugan in her eyes gave her complete visual perception. She could see through solid matter and detect chakra networks with perfect precision. The Rinne Sharingan, the third eye on her forehead, allowed her to cast the infinite Tsukuyomi, a genjutsu that trapped the entire world in an endless dream. She also possessed the ability to open and travel between multiple dimensions at will, and she could reshape them entirely, each with its own unique environment and physics. Kaguya mastered all 5 nature transformations and the yin-yang release, enabling her to create truth-seeking orbs that could erase anything they touched from existence. Her near omnipotence drove her to create the White Zetsu army, humans transformed into obedient soldiers, as preparation for a potential war against the rest of the Ōtsutsuki clan. Her sons, Hagoromo and Hamura, witnessing her descent into tyranny, rebelled against her. After a prolonged battle, they sealed her away. Her will, however, endured through Black Zetsu, who spent millennia manipulating history to orchestrate her resurrection. When she eventually returned, Naruto, Uzumaki, and Sasuke Uchiha combined their 6 paths powers to seal her once again, ending her immediate threat, but her legacy became the foundation of the ninja world. Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Hagoromo Otsutsuki, known as the Sage of 6 Paths, was Kaguya's elder son and the individual responsible for shaping the modern shinobi world. After he and his brother Hamura sealed their mother, Hagoromo became the first Jinchuriki by imprisoning the Ten Tails inside himself. This act established him as the most influential figure in human history, as he gained control over the Ten Tails' near-limitless chakra. Through this power, Hagoromo awakened the Rinnegan and achieved the 6-path Sage mode, which gave him mastery over life, death, and all forms of chakra. He could create matter from nothing and reshape the physical and spiritual planes. Recognizing the destructive potential of the Ten Tails, he divided its chakra into 9 entities, the tailed beasts, and granted each one a name and will of its own. His hope was that one day, humans and tailed beasts would coexist peacefully instead of living in conflict. To guide humanity, Hagoromo founded Ninshu, the spiritual predecessor to modern ninjutsu. Ninshu was never meant to be a weaponized form of combat. It was intended to help people understand and connect with one another through chakra. Hagoromo believed that chakra's true purpose was to unite hearts and minds, a philosophy his descendants would later distort. Hagoromo had 2 sons, Indra and Ashura. Indra, the elder, inherited Hagoromo's eyes and spiritual energy, awakening the Sharingan and laying the foundation of the Uchiha clan. He believed peace could only be achieved through power and domination. Ashura, the younger, inherited Hagoromo's physical energy and life force, becoming the progenitor of the Senju and Uzumaki clans. Unlike his brother, he lacked natural talent and grew strong through perseverance and cooperation, believing that peace could only come from unity. When Hagoromo chose Ashura as his successor, Indra fell into resentment and rebellion. Manipulated by Black Zetsu, his hatred led to a centuries-long cycle of reincarnation and conflict, with Indra's and Ashura's spirits reappearing as Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. During the 4th Great Ninja War, Hagoromo manifested as a spirit to assist their generation. He acknowledged his past mistakes and bestowed his power equally upon Naruto and Sasuke, allowing them to finally end the millennium of hatred that began with his own bloodline. Hagoromo's teachings, his mastery of chakra, and his influence over the creation of the shinobi world make him the single most pivotal figure in Naruto's mythos, the bridge between divine power and human civilization. Indra Ōtsutsuki. Indra Ōtsutsuki was the elder son of Hagoromo Ōtsutsuki, the Sage of 6 Paths, and the first known inheritor of his father's powerful chakra and spiritual energy. Considered a prodigy from birth, Indra mastered all forms of ninjutsu and chakra control effortlessly. His natural brilliance, combined with his calm and analytical mind, made him the ideal heir in the eyes of many. However, his innate talent also fostered pride and emotional detachment, which eventually defined his destiny. Indra was the creator of modern ninjutsu, transforming his father's peaceful teachings of ninshu, the practice of using chakra to connect hearts and minds, into tools of battle and domination. While Hagoromo sought unity through understanding, Indra believed that peace could only be achieved through power and order. To him, only a strong ruler could maintain harmony by controlling others. This ideology placed him in direct opposition to his younger brother, Ashura, who believed in cooperation and compassion. Indra's chakra was extraordinarily potent, and he awakened the Sharingan, an ocular ability that allowed him to read movements, copy techniques, and perceive chakra in detail. As his resentment grew, this evolved into the Mangekyo Sharingan, granting him access to even greater abilities, such as advanced genjutsu and chakra constructs. His mastery over these powers laid the foundation for what would become the Uchiha clan, one of the most powerful lineages in history. When Hagoromo chose Ashura as his successor, Indra's jealousy and bitterness were exploited by Black Zetsu, who manipulated him into rebelling against his brother. Their conflict marked the first instance of the cycle of hatred, a generational feud that would repeat endlessly through their reincarnations, most notably as Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. Indra's legacy thus became both a blessing and a curse. He was the first genius of chakra and the source of 1,000 years of conflict born from ambition and pride. Ashura Ōtsutsuki was the younger son of Hagoromo Ōtsutsuki and the complete opposite of his brother Indra. Unlike Indra, who was gifted with natural genius, Ashura was born with no exceptional talent or innate mastery over chakra. Everything he achieved came through perseverance, cooperation, and an unshakable belief in the bonds between people. His journey embodied Hagoromo's philosophy that true strength lies in unity and love, not domination. While Indra's power came from his eyes, Ashura's came from his body and life force, granting him immense vitality and stamina. He inherited Hagoromo's physical energy, allowing him to endure extreme combat and heal rapidly. This same energy later became the foundation of the Senju and Uzumaki clans, both known for their longevity, powerful chakra reserves, and deep connection to life itself. Ashura's ability to inspire others made him a natural leader. When Hagoromo tasked both sons with uniting a divided village, Indra tried to impose peace through control, while Ashura achieved it through cooperation. Impressed by his younger son's compassion, Hagoromo chose Ashura as his successor to carry on the true spirit of ninshu. However, this decision ignited Indra's fury, leading to the first conflict between the two brothers and the beginning of their eternal feud. Ashura's chakra was deeply connected to creation and vitality, and in his later years, he developed combat techniques that combined physical might with the spiritual power of ninshu. His descendants inherited this philosophy of cooperation, which defined the Senju clan's alliance with the Uzumaki and later, the Will of Fire, the moral foundation of the Hidden Leaf Village. Through Ashura, Hagoromo's dream of peace through empathy survived, even if it took generations to manifest fully. Hamura Ōtsutsuki. Hamura Ōtsutsuki was the younger twin brother of Hagoromo and the co-defeater of Kaguya. While Hagoromo became the father of the ninja world, Hamura became the guardian of the heavens. Together, the two brothers fought their mother in the first and greatest battle of chakra users, sealing her and the Ten-Tails husk to protect humanity. After this victory, their paths diverged. Hagoromo remained on Earth to guide humanity, while Hamura took a faction of followers to the moon. His mission was to guard the empty shell of the Ten-Tails, known as the Gedo statue, which remained sealed inside the moon's core. This duty marked the beginning of the Lunar Ōtsutsuki branch, a family line separate from those who stayed on Earth. Hamura inherited his mother's Byakugan, granting him perfect 360-degree vision and the ability to perceive chakra networks in microscopic detail. Over generations, his powerful bloodline allowed his descendants to evolve this dojutsu into the Tenseigan, a divine eye that could manipulate gravity and energy on a planetary scale. However, Hamura himself sealed away his own Tenseigan after realizing its destructive potential. Beyond his ocular power, Hamura also possessed six-path sage mode and truth-seeking orbs, making him one of the strongest beings in history. His presence was so significant that both the Hyuga clan on Earth and the Lunar clan on the moon traced their lineage directly back to him. Centuries later, one of his moonborn descendants, Toneri Otsutsuki misinterpreted Hamura's teachings. Believing that humanity had corrupted chakra, Toneri sought to destroy Earth by weaponizing the moon through the Tenseigan's power. However, Hinata Hyuga, the descendant of Hamura's Earth bloodline, confronted Toneri and helped him realize his error. Toneri then vowed to protect Earth instead of destroying it, continuing Hamura's original mission of balance and preservation. Hamura's legacy endures through both the Hyuga clan's Byakugan and the Lunar clan's Tenseigan, symbolizing his dual role as protector of the human world and the heavens, the silent counterpart to Hagoromo's earthly influence. Toneri Ōtsutsuki. Toneri Ōtsutsuki was a direct descendant of Hamura Ōtsutsuki, belonging to the lunar branch of the clan that resided on the moon. His family's purpose was to guard the Gedo statue, the husk of the Ten Tails, and ensure Kaguya Ōtsutsuki would never return to threaten humanity again. However, centuries of isolation caused Hamura's descendants to drift from his original teachings, leading Toneri to misinterpret his ancestors' will entirely. Believing that humanity had corrupted chakra and strayed from its sacred origins, Toneri concluded that the only way to restore purity was to eradicate all life on Earth. To achieve this, he sought to use the Tenseigan, an evolved form of the Byakugan unique to the Ōtsutsuki bloodline. The Tenseigan granted him control over gravitational forces, energy constructs, and massive chakra blasts, making him powerful enough to weaponize the moon itself. Toneri descended to Earth and targeted the Hyuga clan, the terrestrial descendants of Hamura. He kidnapped Hanabi Hyuga to steal her Byakugan and merge it with his own to awaken the Tenseigan. With its power, he planned to crash the moon into Earth. During his campaign, he also sought to take Hinata Hyuga as his wife, believing their union would fulfill Hamura's divine mission. His plans were ultimately thwarted by Naruto Uzumaki during the last Naruto the movie. After a fierce battle, Naruto defeated Toneri and showed him the truth, that Hamura's wish was for humanity and the Ōtsutsuki to coexist in peace, not to destroy one another. Realizing his mistake, Toneri renounced his hatred and vowed to continue watching over Earth to ensure it would never again face divine punishment. In later Boruto lore, Toneri remains a significant yet tragic figure, a guardian who sought justice but was blinded by misinterpretation. His connection to both the Tenseigan and Hamura's lineage cements his role as the bridge between the divine Ōtsutsuki and humanity's ongoing struggle for balance between power and peace. Kinshiki Ōtsutsuki. Kinshiki Ōtsutsuki was a high-ranking warrior of the Ōtsutsuki clan and served as the guardian and foster father of Momoshiki Ōtsutsuki. The two arrived on Earth long after Kaguya's betrayal to investigate her disappearance and complete her failed mission of harvesting the planet's chakra. Their arrival marked the clan's attempt to reclaim what Kaguya had defied centuries earlier. Kinshiki's relationship with Momoshiki revealed one of the core traditions of the Ōtsutsuki species, the guardian sacrifice cycle. Each senior member's purpose is to protect and ultimately be consumed by their designated heir, transferring their power through absorption. This ritual ensures the younger Ōtsutsuki can evolve by assimilating the strength of their predecessor. In battle, Kinshiki relied primarily on physical might rather than intricate ninjutsu. His raw strength allowed him to clash evenly with Sasuke Uchiha, who was wielding the Rinnegan and Sharingan simultaneously. Even in his weakened state, Kinshiki displayed destructive capability far beyond any human shinobi. He could fell a god tree in a single swing of his halberd. He possessed the Byakugan, granting him near-total visual awareness, and could absorb chakra-based attacks to forge them into crimson energy weapons, such as axes and spears. This ability allowed him to counter nearly any ninjutsu used against him by transforming enemy chakra into offensive tools. When faced with defeat during their invasion, Kinshiki fulfilled his biological duty. He willingly allowed Momoshiki to absorb his body, transforming into energy that vastly amplified Momoshiki's strength and abilities. This act exemplified the Ōtsutsuki principle of evolution through consumption, power gained at the cost of self-sacrifice. Though Kinshiki's time in the story was brief, his role was pivotal in showing both the loyalty and the inhuman structure of the Ōtsutsuki hierarchy, a race driven entirely by survival, evolution, and ascension, even if it means erasing their own existence to achieve it. Momoshiki Ōtsutsuki. Momoshiki Ōtsutsuki was the primary antagonist of Boruto, Naruto the movie, and one of the most significant members of the clan to appear in the modern timeline. He arrived on Earth with Kinshiki to inspect the results of Kaguya's mission and to harvest the planet's chakra by cultivating a new god tree. Like all members of his species, his ultimate goal was to consume the chakra fruit, thereby advancing himself toward godhood. After learning that Kaguya had been defeated, Momoshiki and Kinshiki targeted Naruto Uzumaki, the 7th Hokage, recognizing that the Nine Tails chakra could be used as the core energy source for growing a new god tree. During their assault, they captured Naruto and took him to another dimension to begin the ritual, but the 5 Kage, Sasuke, and Boruto intervened. Momoshiki was one of the most versatile and dangerous Otsutsuki. He possessed the Byakugan, giving him omnidirectional vision and perfect chakra perception. More notably, he wielded the Rinnegan in both palms, each capable of absorbing and amplifying ninjutsu. Any chakra-based attack that struck him could be absorbed through one hand, multiplied in power, and released through the other. This made nearly all conventional ninjutsu ineffective against him. After absorbing Kinshiki, Momoshiki entered his empowered form, gaining enormous strength, speed, and durability. His power level in this state allowed him to battle both Naruto and Sasuke at their 6 paths levels simultaneously, something even Kaguya could not achieve without preparation. He could generate chakra constructs, massive energy attacks, and use techniques capable of erasing landscapes entirely. Despite his near-godlike might, Momoshiki was ultimately defeated when Boruto Uzumaki, empowered by Naruto's chakra, struck him with a massive Rasengan that annihilated his body. However, before dying, Momoshiki used the clan's resurrection method by placing his karma seal on Boruto's palm, marking him as his future vessel. This karma acted as a compressed backup of Momoshiki's consciousness and genetic code. Over time, it began rewriting Boruto's body into an Ōtsutsuki vessel, granting Boruto access to superhuman abilities, such as enhanced perception, speed, and space-time manipulation. Yet it also allowed Momoshiki's spirit to occasionally take control of Boruto's body, moments in which Momoshiki destroyed Sasuke's Rinnegan and fought Kawaki directly. Although Momoshiki can no longer fully resurrect due to Boruto's altered genetics, his essence remains active within him. Through this link, Boruto inherits the power and curse of the Ōtsutsuki, fulfilling Momoshiki's prophecy that his blue eyes would one day take everything from him. Urashiki Ōtsutsuki. Urashiki Ōtsutsuki was a lesser-known but extremely dangerous member of the clan. He was sent to assist Momoshiki and Kinshiki in finding Kaguya's whereabouts and gathering the chakra of the god tree on Earth. Despite his playful and carefree demeanor, Urashiki was as ruthless and cunning as any other Ōtsutsuki. He possessed both the Byakugan and a pair of Rinnegan, each granting him a distinct set of powers. The Byakugan provided total visual perception and chakra detection, while his Rinnegan granted him an exceptionally rare ability, temporal manipulation. This allowed Urashiki to move through time in short bursts, evade fatal attacks, and alter the sequence of battle in his favor. His unpredictability made him extremely difficult to counter in combat. Urashiki's primary weapon was a chakra fishing rod, which he used to extract chakra directly from his enemies. Once obtained, he could store and use that chakra to empower himself or recreate his opponent's jutsu with enhanced potency. This parasitic combat method made him a uniquely adaptive fighter, capable of turning any enemy's strength into his own. His actions displayed both arrogance and cruelty. Urashiki confronted and easily defeated Toneri Ōtsutsuki on the moon, but chose to spare him, not out of mercy, but because lower-ranked members like himself lacked the authority to kill another Ōtsutsuki. Afterward, he traveled to Earth, targeting individuals with large chakra reserves such as Gaara and Mitsuki, even stealing Mitsuki's Senjutsu chakra. Upon learning of Momoshiki's death, Urashiki recognized Boruto as a future threat to the clan and shifted his focus toward eliminating him. In his most ambitious act, Urashiki used his Rinnegan's time warp ability to travel back to the era of young Naruto Uzumaki in the Time Slip arc. His plan was to capture the Nine Tails and alter history to benefit the clan. However, this interference brought him into direct conflict with Jiraiya, young Naruto, adult Sasuke, and Boruto. After an extended battle, Urashiki was finally overpowered and destroyed by the combined father and son Rasengan of Naruto and Boruto. Urashiki's defeat demonstrated that even among the Ōtsutsuki, hierarchy and limits exist. Despite his intelligence and unique powers, his arrogance and lack of strategic restraint ultimately led to his downfall, and his failure prevented the clan from rewriting the course of human history. Isshiki Ōtsutsuki. Isshiki Ōtsutsuki was one of the highest-ranking and most dangerous members of the entire clan. He originally came to Earth alongside Kaguya Ōtsutsuki on a mission to plant a god tree and harvest the planet's chakra. However, before the mission could be completed, Kaguya betrayed him, attacking him and leaving him on the brink of death. In order to survive, Isshiki used his clan's parasitic survival technique. He implanted microscopic portions of himself into a nearby monk named Jigen, effectively taking over his body as a host. While this vessel allowed him to stay alive, it was never strong enough to contain his full power. Over time, Isshiki gradually modified and strengthened Jigen's body to serve as a temporary vessel while he searched for a more suitable host. That vessel would later be found in Kawaki, a young boy Isshiki purchased from his abusive father. Through the Karma Seal, Isshiki implanted his genetic data into Kawaki, intending to use him as the perfect body for reincarnation. The karma not only served as a backup of his consciousness, but also as a gradual transformation process that rewrote Kawaki's biology into that of an Otsutsuki. As an Otsutsuki, Isshiki was superior in rank and strength to Kaguya. Even while limited by Jigen's imperfect vessel, he was able to fight both Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha simultaneously, pushing them to their limits. His unique dojutsu, known as the Kokugan, granted him two extraordinary Shinjutsu abilities. The first, Sukuna Hikona, allowed him to shrink himself and any object to microscopic size instantly, including massive weapons and constructs. The second ability let him store these shrunken objects inside a dimensionless pocket space, from which he could summon them at will. These powers made Isshiki nearly impossible to predict or counter in battle. He could conjure weapons from nowhere, evade attacks by vanishing into miniature size, and reappear instantly to strike. His analytical precision and millennia of experience made him one of the most tactically advanced fighters in the entire series. Eventually, Isshiki's body began to fail under the strain of his immense power. During his final confrontation with Naruto and Sasuke, Naruto activated his ultimate transformation, Baryon Mode, a form that consumed his and Kurama's chakra to produce devastating power at the cost of their lives. With Kawaki's intervention, Isshiki was finally outmaneuvered. Kawaki used deception to force Isshiki to waste his last moments, preventing him from transferring his soul and ensuring his permanent death. However, Isshiki's influence continued through his devoted follower, Code, who inherited his will and became the clan's next major threat. Isshiki's death marked the end of an ancient lineage, but his ideology, the relentless pursuit of power through sacrifice, remained embedded in Code's mission to continue the Otsutsuki's divine plan. Shibai Ōtsutsuki. Shibai Ōtsutsuki stands at the very apex of the clan's evolution, a being who transcended physical existence itself. He is described as the god of the Ōtsutsuki, the ultimate form that all other members of the clan aspire to reach. His existence is central to understanding the true goal of the Ōtsutsuki, to endlessly consume chakra fruits, evolve beyond mortality, and ascend to a state of pure divinity. Over countless millennia, Shibai traveled across worlds, planting god trees and devouring the chakra of entire civilizations. Each chakra fruit consumed refined his body and mind until he surpassed the limits of life and death. Eventually, his physical body became unnecessary, and he discarded it entirely, existing as a being of pure consciousness. Despite this, the remains of his former body still contained traces of unimaginable power that could reshape reality. Shibai's mastery of Shinjutsu, or divine techniques, placed him beyond the reach of any mortal or demigod. These techniques are the highest form of chakra manipulation, abilities that operate at a level where imagination itself becomes reality. Shibai was said to be able to control natural phenomena such as lightning and storms simply by will, teleport across dimensions instantly, and perceive the flow of time on a cosmic scale. Even fragments of his genetic material carried divine influence. Centuries after his ascension, the scientist Amato recovered traces of Shibai's DNA and used it to create artificial humans endowed with Shinjutsu-derived powers. From this, he produced two enhanced beings, Ada and Daemon. Ada inherited omnipotence, a Shinjutsu that allows her to perceive everything happening in the world, both in the present and in the past, as if she were observing it directly. This perception cannot be turned off or fooled by illusion, though it cannot reach into the future. Daemon inherited perfect reflection, an instinctive defense mechanism that reflects any attack or killing intent back upon the attacker, regardless of their strength or speed. Both abilities are diluted imitations of the powers Shibai himself once commanded. Even Kashin Koji, a clone of Jiraiya created by Amato, carried cells from Shibai's body. When pushed to the brink of death in battle against Isshiki, he awakened his own Shinjutsu, 10 Directions, an ability that lets him see multiple possible futures simultaneously. However, even this ability, as powerful as it is, was merely a faint echo of Shibai's original divine insight. Although Shibai no longer exists in a tangible form, his influence pervades the entire Naruto and Boruto mythos. His transcendence represents the endpoint of the Otsutsuki evolutionary path, a being who achieved what every other member seeks: true godhood through infinite consumption. His legacy defines the cosmic scale of power within the series and serves as the unreachable ceiling for all who follow the Otsutsuki way.